Caught on camera on KGW News, a vehicle careens right into a paint store, the damage left behind, and how this ended up in someone's mailbox. Plus,
they pulled out a gun, pointed at my head, and told me, "Give me everything you got."
a rideshare driver recounts the moments he says a group of teenagers carjacked him before police say they went on a crime spree. Then the head of one of Oregon's most iconic businesses has a message for Tom Dundon.
I think Portlanders need to know that you're invested not only financially but personally.
How confident are you at this moment, knowing what we know, that this will get done? And later, confusion in Vancouver over an apparent directive not to arrest people who commit certain types of crimes. Good evening, everyone. David Molko with you on this Wednesday night with a live look over the Rose City as rain and thunderstorms move through the Portland metro on a day where smoke, haze, and the mid-90s made for some pretty miserable conditions. Let's get right to meteorologist Joe Ranieri with our KGW Weather Impact Alert. Joe, listen into that thunder and just glad we are cooling off.
Right, and it was about an hour ago, the Goose Hollow area here in where the studio we're at, we're just hearing thunder left and right, and you're talking over that live camera. We just saw a lightning strike just over the West Hills just a second ago. So we still have the weather impact alert up because of the thunderstorm threat, and it's up and down the I-5 corridor right now. That's going to continue here at least the next hour or two. There could be some light showers with it. There could also be some heavier downpours at times. That's kind of what we've been seeing. In fact, about an hour ago, there were some good showers outside our studios, but in terms of rainfall amounts, they're still on the lighter side. But up and down the I-5 corridor, we're picking up some heavier cells, those yellows and oranges indicative of some good amount of rain. But again, our upper levels of the atmosphere are still pretty warm. So some of us, even though we're starting to see those lightning strikes move in, the blue is just what's happening right now near the Eugene area. Lynn and Lane County saw some pea-sized hail earlier today in the foothills of the mountains there in the Cascades. We are still going to be looking at some lighter rain here late tonight. So far, we've just seen under 0.2 of an inch of rain at the Portland International Airport, and some locations near the Beaverton area saw close to a quarter in a few spots. But for the most part, we're going to be seeing some things improve heading into tomorrow morning and beyond. I'll talk more about that in a few minutes.
After the heat, hail, rain, lightning, and thunder. Thanks, Joe. A lot going on. To a live look now at the PGE outage map in the Portland metro with just under 3,000 customers without power, including a major outage in the Oregon City area affecting over 1,000 and another in Salem. Catherine Cook's with us. Catherine, we see a number of these on and off all day, including one that hit us right here at KGW.
Yeah, David, all I can say is thank goodness for backup generators.
No kidding.
Oh my goodness. PGE has said that lightning has triggered outages all over the area, but we now know it was a tree into a power line that caused the big one here in Goose Hollow.
Thousands of people lost power Wednesday afternoon from northwest Portland to Beaverton after PGE says a tree fell into a power line. In the Goose Hollow neighborhood, apartment residents made do.
The elevators are, not working. Nothing is. None of the lights in the hallways are.
While several businesses closed early. Blue Star Donuts locked up for several hours.
Have you had a bunch of sad faces come up to the window?
Yes, yeah, people from Seattle and all over. Like, we drove all this way, So again, thankfully we have other locations, but obviously not everybody has that option.
By early evening, power and air conditioning was back for customers in this area, while PGE crews responded to several other weather-related outages impacting thousands more.
And as we get through these summer storms and power outages, some good reminders here. Stay connected and monitor alerts, stock food and water, plan for personal medical needs, including having enough prescription meds, and of course, keep away from power lines. David?
Yeah, assume it's live if it's down and call 911. Thanks, Catherine. In an update, a jury has found Nike liable in a sex discrimination lawsuit brought by a former employee. After a 6-day federal trial, jurors ruled in favor of Heather Hender on all counts, finding Nike willfully violated the Federal Equal Pay Act. The jury awarded Hender more than $7.5 million in punitive damages, plus nearly $20,000 in back pay. We spoke to Hender and her attorney.
I was weeping when they were reading their verdict. There is hope out there, even when it seems it's rather bleak. There's hope out there, and I believe tides are changing.
For 8 years, Nike had a choice here. They could fix the problem or they could fight the person. And we hope that this message from the jury will encourage Nike to stop fighting their employees and start fixing their culture.
In a statement, Nike says it is disappointed by the verdict and disagrees with the conclusions. The company says it's evaluating next steps and says it takes workplace issues seriously, investigates them thoroughly, and addresses them where appropriate. New tonight, we are hearing from a Portland rideshare driver carjacked by the same teenagers, police say, who then went on a wild crime spree across the city. Alma McCarty has his story.
Before a series of gas station robberies and a shooting at one of them, Portland police say a group of teen boys from Seattle carjacked a rideshare driver.
I don't believe it was their first rodeo.
Cody Sanford is that driver. He's done this for a couple of months, and up until last week, he didn't run into any major problems.
It was kind of smooth sailing, doing it to make some extra money on the side.
But then he was assigned this ride near the intersection of Northeast 73rd and Halsey.
I flipped around at the end of the street, and the whole group, four, approached from the rear, entered the car. Really didn't think too much of it.
Before he even got to the end of the block, one of the passengers pulled out a gun.
Pointed at my head and told me, "Give you everything you got." So my gut reaction was to grab the phone and then the door and book it as fast as I could away from that.
Coty says they chased him down Halsey.
I ended up tripping a couple blocks down this way, and they grabbed my phone, and then they were off with the car.
The car, this SUV, he just got back more than a week later after officers arrested and charged the teens in connection with other crimes. A shooting at a 76 gas station, an attempted car break-in, and a convenience store robbery.
There's every reason to believe this crew is going to continue this activity and victimize more people.
Coty isn't surprised.
And when the detective called me on the phone a couple days after the events, he had informed me that they were committing a lot of crimes around town, and I said, I remember my exact reaction was, sounds about right.
Coty says that he was driving for Lyft at the time and was auto-assigned the pickup and couldn't see the identity of the person behind the account. The company says it's permanently banned that rider, and they're assisting law enforcement with the investigation. David?
What a wild story. I'm just so glad he's okay. Thanks, Alma. To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, Portland police have arrested a man they say broke into a home this morning and sexually assaulted a teenager. Police say 26-year-old Anthony Alfred assaulted the 17-year-old while she was sleeping in a home along Southeast 92nd. Authorities say a family member stopped him, chased him out, and called 911. Alfred is now charged with first-degree sexual abuse and attempted rape. To Oregon City, where a home has been destroyed in a fire that sent one person to the hospital. Video showing the house on South Dick Drive engulfed in flames this evening. Fire crews say they attacked it defensively, working to keep the fire contained from spreading to trees and other structures. Officials say the home has collapsed, and they'll be on site throughout the night to make sure it is out. No word yet on the cause. And Portland City Council has reversed some of the budget cuts it approved just weeks ago. An ordinance approved this morning restores 30 full-time equivalent positions across city bureaus. That includes 8 public safety support specialists who work alongside police, as well as 311 customer service reps. It also provides $3 million for police training. The total price tag for the changes, about $12 million. To the future of MOTA, because happening tomorrow, a big decision from Multnomah County Commissioners who will be voting yes or no on whether to direct some $100 million in county funds toward upgrades. Some of them have already proposed amendments, by the way. Remember, the city owns the aging arena but needs state funds already committed, and the county in order to make a deal happen and secure the Blazers for decades to come. Members of a union representing some county employees say they plan to testify against investing in MOTA, saying the county should focus on its workers and core services. And this evening, there are growing concerns, including from Tim Boyle, the chairman and CEO of one of Oregon's most iconic companies, Columbia Sportswear, over whether a deal to keep the team here is still possible. I sat down with Boyle on Tuesday and started by asking him what he'd like to see right now from Blazers owner Tom Dundon.
This is a community that requires I don't want to say hand-holding, but you need to love this community if you're going to be here and have a big investment. And clearly, it's a big investment for almost any way you measure it. And I think Portlanders need to know that you're invested not only financially, but personally, and that you care about the city, you care about the state, and you want to make sure that it all works together to the common good.
Have you seen that to any degree from him?
Well, you know, I don't know Tom very well. I've talked to him on the phone a few times, but people don't get that vibe from him. I think people need to say, geez, this guy knows Portland, he gets it, he wants to invest here, we're behind him.
Would you call him and tell him that?
Yeah, I would.
What's your impression of the mayor's leadership and how he's dealt with this whole process?
I think the mayor can be very vocal and can be an important advocate for the Blazers staying here. And as I understand it, he feels strongly that the Blazers should be here. It'd be great to have even a greater voice from him and from the governor and frankly from the city councilors. Some have called the Moda Center without the Blazers Wapato, you know, the prison that we built that was never occupied. And this is going to be a problem if we don't have a high quality tenant in that building. I'd like the city to be contributing, and I'd like the county to make their contribution. And frankly, based on the current tax rates, it's not really a challenge financially for those things to happen. The investment that the community's making in the Blazers is not something that you could put in an equation and, you know, a financial statement that says we're going to earn this much money off it. But it does matter when people think about how the city prides itself, how it stands up against other cities, and those kinds of things are incalculable, but they are valuable.
If this doesn't happen and the Blazers go for whatever reason, how does this transpire? What's your view of losing the Blazers? How would that impact Portland and Oregon?
Well, I think it'd be incredibly disappointing. I think once they were gone, people would realize, you know, we made a mistake. We should have worked harder to keep them here. It makes us a city that we're in the same class as Boston and New York and Los Angeles.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you at this moment, knowing what we know, that this will get done and will keep the team?
I'm pretty confident that cooler heads will prevail and people will realize the value of having the Blazers here. And I know I'm going to try, if I can, to make people understand how important it is.
Cooler heads will prevail. Boyle, by the way, was initially approached by Dundon to potentially join the new ownership group before it bought the team, something he declined because while he does not love basketball, he does love Portland. And Boyle made it clear to me he's willing to do what it takes to try to bring everyone closer to a deal. An extended interview, including whether he thinks the city and county are asking for too much from the Blazers, is available for you now on KGW.com. My thanks to him for that conversation.